Jagru to all, welcome you to this channel Being and Becoming, and this channel is basically created for spreading the ideology of C.C. Thakur and Anukul Chandra. In this video, I will talk on the topic Jajan is the part and parcel of one's life for peace and well-being, and this is one of the 5 important principles given by C.C. Thakur for the well-being and growth of human life. Myself, Dr. Surjo Dupal from Siliguri, West Bengal. Let's discuss on the topic. Paramprema C.C. Thakur Anukul Chandra, the Supreme Beloved, has been worshipped as the prophet, the living idol at the present times by the millions of people in the world. He established Satsang, the man-making industry, and he reincarnated to spreading the masses of being and becoming. That is the way of life and growth with the surrounding environment. To him, being means the total being of a man, and becoming implies the all-round growth of that being. The man who was shattered and disappointed, who want to live and grow, were found solace in the path of C.C. Thakur. The human being, the small creatures in this universe who loves their existence, the soul, are now conscious about life and growth and following the divine dictation of C.C. Thakur as the living ideal. They enjoying the elixir of existence. The development of human being basically depends on the achieving of concordance between the ideal, self, and environment. These 3 components is basically important for one's development. This could be possible only when a man becomes adjusted and integrated by controlling and meaningfully adjusting his complexes, his passions, emotions, whims, and could achieve coordination between his thought, word, and action. To promote the great evolution in man and ensure his well-being, C.C. Thakur gives 5 principles of Jajan, Ishtruviti, Shrasteni, and Shradachar. Acharya C.C. Dada and Pujibat C.C. Babaida repeatedly told in different places, in different times about these principles, so that we can do and maintain these principles in our daily life in efficiently, devotionally, and in volitional way for the sake of individual life and also for the national life. Basically, these principles are certain ways of thinking, speaking, and doing, which, if followed sincerely, it must invoke life and growth at their fullest. One who cannot think good can neither do nor speak good. Because of the lack of upliftment, thought, and action, there is a great confusion in both individual and national life. C.C. Thakur says, one mistake invites many mischiefs. So we should always try to be conscious of and understand ourselves. This process of self-understanding and self-analysis, we make the motion of a life worshipful and perform devout services. Initiation unto a man in whom knowledge, love, and activity are normally embodied is a kind of second birth. C.C. Thakur says initiation is a second birth. By adhering to such a living ideal, man's existential work of life begins. Initiation means to know the clues of life and growth. One needs to practice the tricks and tips which he has come to know from the Sadguru or Acharya. Remaining attached to him, man's complexes are at once the chief components of his enjoyment of life and but these are also act as a impediment towards achieving the same. But how these complexes became handy instead of impediment in enjoying life in all its colors and fragrances can only be learned from an all-knowing, all-fulfilling living ideal and Acharya. Only then a man knows the clues of how to afford and nurture the existence of life. So initiation is to be taken from an Acharya or living ideal who has attained realizations and knowledge by doing. In order to materialize dharma in life, the first step is to take initiation, which simply means to accept the ideal and follow him for achievement of knowledge and efficiency that fulfills life and growth. The literary meaning of Diksha or initiation is to enter into. Sri Thakur says initiation means to enter into. It implies to enter into the clues of becoming. The utter indiscipline and chaotic condition that prevails today result from the lack of self-adjustment. We are talking about the self-adjustment. The first step towards the welfare of society and state is the acceptance of an ideal in individual life. Without active attachment to an ideal, a man can never adjust himself, his family, society, or state. At this time of crisis, when all nations are plagued with conflict and bewilderment, Sri Thakur shows us the way to eternal peace and well-being. By yajna, he meant the consistent effort of an individual to cultivate the qualities of Ishta, both mentally and physically, through the repetition of holy name, with concentration and meditation. In other words, a man should adjust himself in such a way that his being is processed by the ideal and is engaged in his thoughts alone. This helps him in becoming receptive, sensitive, purified, free from nervous debility, and makes him mentally strong. Thus, transformation of character becomes possible. Sri Thakur's vast range of literature covers all aspects of human life, all subjects concerning man's existence and growth. There is no topic which he does not discuss, analyze, and elaborate. There is no ism which he does not fulfill. There is no problem which he does not solve. There is no individual whom he does not fulfill and exalt. As fulfiller, he unfolds the latent possibilities of one and all and goads and guides him to perfection. His love touch has transformed millions into a life divine and has exalted them to move ahead unwearyingly on the path of eternal becoming. He is the master man and the only salt man of the age. Thousands of verses and innumerable utterances came down from the lips of Sri Thakur during his lifetime, the main theme of which was the being and becoming of man. The teaching of Sri Thakur may over floods and ocean. The whole life is not enough to interpret and understand what he said and inspired through his teaching. For this, he has given a clarion call to one and all to follow the commands of Sadguru. Along with the religious rites, he encouraged practical work and meditation so that brain cells may remain active and new ideas beneficial to human beings might develop. He also encouraged acquaintance with the present science and research in scientific fields to enable people to conceive finer ideas. The time is ripe to give shape to his noble thoughts and lead the world to the heavenly path. Thakur's philosophy of religion hinges around only two words. One is being, another is becoming. This being and becoming, which are the cardinal points reflected in all his doctrines. Thakur has always affirmed that God is one, Dharma is one, prophets are messengers of truth, and that sectarianism is not dharma. In short, according to him, when the individual and the entire society, out of an unrevealing active adherence to the ideal, advance towards all-round welfare and progress, they follow dharma. The ideal in Thakur's philosophy is one in whom dharma is materialized. Thakur started his philosophy of life on the basis of three extremely simple formula. These are Jajan, that is self-culture, Jajan, that is imparting the ideal to our environment, and Ishtoveti means devout oblation to the ideal. These three formula appears to be so simple, but they are very effective in molding man's life and bringing adjustment of the complexes in our character. Without adjustment of complexes, all tall talks of religious philosophy become futile and meaningless. The result is what we see now all around us. According to Sri Thakur, the very intrinsic significance of practicing dharma lies in observing the laws and principles that uphold existence and accelerate its becoming. The very gist of all laws and principles for upholding existence is to surrender to the Almighty God through love. In Alochana Prasange, Thakur said, surrender to the ideal is needed and activities are needed to please Him. Then alone the favor of complexes, passions and lust would give away. If any work for man's well-being could take place, it would be possible only in this condition and never before. It must be made clear that surrender never means a passive dependence on the abstract supreme being, because according to Thakur, any such sense of passive dependency in the name of surrender is nothing but anti-becoming. The common belief in surrender to God means like saying, "Oh God, I am nothing. I have no power. All lies in your hand. Please bestow on me everything in your store." Thakur says that this is not surrender at all. This is hypocrisy of surrender that holds man down with a drag to shatter. Thakur doctrines clearly shows that such surrender creates no binding forces to the individual, nor does it curb his passionate desires. But if one adheres to a living ideal, one has to be cautious about one's evil doings, lest the ideal may know of it. Sri Thakur used to say satsang is a man-making institution. Everyone longs for an ideal child in his family. This is possible only when we ourselves are genuine. And this genuine quality is possible only if we are trying to understand the natural law in proper perspective. If we look at the structure of an atom, we see the electrons moving in certain orbit around the nucleus. A similar phenomenon is also observed in the solar system. Keeping the sun at the center, the planets are moving about in their respective orbits. Electrons and planets have their existence because of the nucleus and the sun, respectively. Likewise, if a man has to grow and exist properly, he is to be ideal-centric. And this ideal should be a person who is completely free from all sorts of complexes. Accepting and following his way of life is possible only when we become his disciple through initiation. In following him, a man becomes adjusted, disciplined, and integrated, and adopts an unrearing path without any evil consequences. In this way, the man gets self-realization and ultimately becomes endowed with godly nature. Of course, for all this, he requires unwavering devotion to his ideal. To evolve an adjusted, harmonious, and integrated personality, Sri Thakur has prescribed 5 principles. I have already said these are the Jajan, Ishtoveti, Swasthani, and Sadachar. These 5 are the most concise, yet the most important activities through which an individual can become spiritually enlightened. At the same time, he might meet the three obligations, namely his inherent debt to the Creator, the Guru, and the parents. This is what the sage Vasishtha reminded Lord Rama about when he came back from his remittance of the Guru. Vasishtha also alluded to the 6 duties, Shatakarma, that you know. These 6 duties include Jajan, Jajan and Ishtraviti. Thus, the teaching of Sasi Thakur has fixed the duties in a very precise and distinct manner. The 3 duties cover all the human activities, mentally, physically and spiritually. Jajan in its way is a means to purify oneself on the path of his ideal. The aim of life is nothing but pursuing the teaching of the ideal. You can say that the supreme end of life is God, realizing through the Acharya, following his commands and understand his words and willing with love. For this, self-adjustment, adjustment of the family, society and state are absolutely necessary. So nothing can be neglected. Everything is to be taken in its proper perspective. Sasi Thakur very aptly says in his message, the verses is the goal of our life is God realization, or in other words, attainment of a personality in which the arts of upholding and protecting others is firmly established. The means to it is active adherence to the ideal. From this flows self-adjustment with adjustment of the family, society and the state. And therefrom springs the arts of finding fulfillment of everything in God. And this is the supreme consciousness that sprouts from God realization. The effectiveness of the holy name is bound to a fundamental aspects of our being, which Thakur referred to as Surat in Bengali and as libido in English. It is the arts to unification, to unite one's own existence with something or someone beyond oneself, and it is the fundamental drive of life. The arts of unification makes an individual enjoy relating to others in various ways. But the tremendous motive power of the libido can be centered, and according to Thakur, this is the key to the mastery of life. If it is centered on a person who is identified, that which becomes everything, then automatically the whole being becomes attached to that one. Centering on such a person's make the practice of the holy name effective. For the Supreme Father or Supreme Soul reveals in this practice then becomes the primary object of the craving for union. Other attachments are regulated so as to support the central attachment, so they no longer scatter one's energy and interfere with each other. Say you have a family. Your mind is bound to go toward your spouse, your children, your parents, your friends. But if you serve them as a means of serving the central person, that is the living ideal, a beloved Lord, who wants every being uphold in life and growth, your attachment is basically to the upholding center. The whole personality, everything our perceives, feels, thinks and does becomes concentric to the love and therefore meaningful. As Sisi Bardha pointed out, that the peace and delight that comes in this way cannot be imagined. Thakur thought that it is very important to put good impulses into actions. Once someone asked Sisi Bardha how one can be sure that an impulse is good. He aptly answered, you know after you put it action. So, keeping in mind the duration of the video, now I would like to pause my discussion, and you can access the remaining portion of my speech in the next video on the same topic. Jajan is the part and parcel of one's life for peace and well-being. Thanks for watching, and once again, Jai Guru to all.